Hi there, Dr. Vicky here with the Shift Happens channel. So, the difference between daydreaming and the wish fulfilled. So often we might catch ourselves kind of daydreaming and thinking about our end result or thinking about this is especially true with our SP. We're always after money and love, right? But this is especially true when you're talking about your specific person. And so you might catch yourself thinking about them and thinking, oh, and geez, I've been doing all this thinking about them, and I feel like it's in the, positive manner. So why am I not getting what I want? I'm thinking about the money. I'm thinking about what I would do to spend it and have fun with it, but I'm still not getting the money in the bank. What is going on? Well, we're going to talk about that and more. But before we do, go ahead and like, share, and comment. That's how we build our community here. If you need help coaching, all that information is below in the description box. But again, listen, I know you're watching a lot of videos and I appreciate you stopping by. But here's the thing, I always go back to the Neville Goddard, the complete collection. And in particular, I am going to read a short passage to you. And this is from The Power of Awareness. This would be give me a second, chapter 14, The Effortless Way, right? It is not the world, 3D, but your assumptions that change, right? What we believe, what we think about. The assumption brings the invisible into sight. I'm going to continue, but still, be still. That means the least action, and know that you are that which you desire to be. Perpetual construction of future states without the consciousness of already being them. In other words, embodying them. That is picturing your desire without actually assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the fallacy and mirage of mankind. It is simply futile daydreaming. I'm going to read that over again. I'm just going to read it through. Perpetual construction of future states without the consciousness of already being them. That is, picturing your desire without actually assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the fallacy and mirage of mankind. It is simply futile daydreaming, right? So, what he's saying here, Neville Goddard is basically saying, hey, listen, if you're not actually feeling the wish fulfilled, that means what would it feel like? And you've heard this a million times, right? From me, from other coaches, from Neville Goddard, from other, greats. It is always going to the end state. Now, he also talks about this in further lectures as his career grew. He talks about, hey, listen, it's okay. Let's take, for instance, a specific person. You have someone in mind that you want to marry. You're with someone and you're like, man, I really want to, spend the rest of my life with this person. Well, if you can't see the wedding day and it's just you've got some resistance there, you've got some belief systems there, that's okay. Neville Goddard even says, don't try to force something. If it doesn't feel good, don't try to envision it. Go to another scene and create one that feels good, right? So maybe it's you and your specific person in the living room watching, Netflix, or maybe it's making dinner and there's kids running around. I don't know. Create a scene that's more reflective of how you feel, meaning you can really believe that feels good. So what would it feel like to be cooking together in the kitchen? Yeah, there's going to be some laughter, some you're both busy doing something in the kitchen and maybe you're having a glass of wine and there's music going on. There's the smell of the chicken, cooking, or whatever, the vegetables steaming, whatever. Make that scene enjoyable, relaxing, something that you can believe in, and revisit it every night. I challenge you, because really, going to the wedding day, if that isn't there, and I can help you with that as far as like limiting beliefs, or there's some sort of uh, resistance there. Maybe deep down you really don't want to even get married. Maybe you just want to live with that person. Maybe that's why you're having trouble with the wedding day. But it doesn't matter, because actually Neville Goddard also says, go one step further. Okay, you've got the wedding, but then go one step further, further, and and have dinner. That's what you do. That's what married couples or couples that are together do sometimes, right? If that's something that you would enjoy with your partner. And so, and that's kind of an easy scene because you can incorporate all your senses, because that is also the wish fulfilled. How is that going to feel? And it's going to feel light, fun, exciting. It is normal, natural, right? And that's the state of wish fulfilled, is having it being natural. Like, yeah, of course that's going to happen. That just seems natural and normal to me, for me. And so you incorporate, you try and get as many senses as possible. So maybe you're kind of focusing on this, but you look over and your partner's doing something and you're just kind of laughing and having fun, or you're asking a question like, how long do I need to steam the vegetables? How do you know when they're done? And then you clink your wine glasses and you've got jazz going on. So you're hearing things, you're speaking things, you're smelling things. It feels warm, it feels fun. Maybe there's some kids running around. Just have fun with it. Be a little lighter with it. That's the wish fulfilled, versus daydreaming is kind of like fantasizing, like, oh, wouldn't that be great? But you're not really feeling it, or you're not really believing it. It's just kind of out there. So daydreaming is more of not having that relaxed feeling, of the end result, that end scene. That's really ultimately where you want to go. A lot of times daydreaming might just be more of a point where it's like, it feels somewhat good. It kind of is fun, but yet it's not the feeling of it is done. It's just more like out there, like I'm going to try and reach for it. It's out there. It's not here. You're not embodying it. And so daydreaming is just, as he says, it's futile. But it's also, that doesn't mean that if you're driving, you're like, all right, if I were with my partner, they might be sitting right here and we would be listening to music, maybe singing and laughing and smiling, or just looking over. And that's okay, because you feel it, right? Daydreaming is more of like, I don't have it. And so it's more like out there. It's not here, right? It's like up in the clouds, like, you know, um, you don't really feel it. Like, for instance, I could do it right now, daydreaming, like, oh yeah, I could be up on a mountain. Ooh, I don't even want to be on a mountain, right? Because it seems awfully cold. And so it just doesn't appeal. Like climbing a mountain, how even worse, right? For me, that just sounds awful. But so daydreaming about it may not be the best example, but I'm like, you know, I can't get myself into it because I don't even want it. But what if it's something that I do want? All right. So let's say maybe kayaking at the bottom of the mountain. Yeah, that sounds nice. It's kind of more of a daydream because it's kind of like out there. I don't really feel it or believe it. And so not feeling it, I would have to take myself out of it and go, okay, what would it feel like to be out in the water? Relaxing. I could hear the birds. And so I kind of have to go back into actually feeling myself and embodying and actually being in that moment. Then that switches from daydreaming to wish fulfilled. Like that is the end result. Like I could do that, right? I hope this made sense. I know there is a fine line between daydreaming and wish fulfilled. Wish fulfilled is more conviction. Like, yeah, that's going to happen. That is my end result. That's where I want to be. And I'm deciding it because I am God of my reality. There is no question. There's no wobble. And I feel relaxed and I know it's coming, and there's no doubt. That's the way it is. I know it because I feel it in my heart. Desire comes from God. I believe it. And, God doesn't give you anything that I say that you don't want. Like, that would be horrible to go, gosh, I really want love. I feel love. But God's like, yeah, maybe not. I want you to just want it really bad. That's horrible. God doesn't work that way, right? It's out there for everyone. You are the embodiment of love. So what would that feel like? It feels relaxing. It feels like making dinner together. It feels like sitting out on the porch, having a glass of wine and just laughing and talking about the day. Ooh. See, I got it right there. I just got the chills. I felt it right here in my center heart. That actually was the wish fulfilled, the end result. I was like, that feels good. And oftentimes you don't go for the emotion. It's not like, oh, it's just more like a feeling. Yeah, I feel that to be true. And that is the feeling, the wish fulfilled. I feel that to be true. There it is. Finally, after all this talking, I feel that to be true. I feel that to be true. And when you feel that to be true, it's just calming, relaxing, because I know it. That's the way it is. Wow, so powerful. Go ahead and like, share, and comment. That's how we build our community. If you need help coaching, I am happy to be there for you. All the information is below in the description box. Until the next video, take care. Bye-bye.